Again, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I would like to welcome everybody to our sessions, ODL Best Practices webinar series. This time around we will talk about the ODL research opportunities, all the research opportunities available in open and distance learning. Okay. Right, so that will be our topic today. So before we proceed, I think we shall recite Umar kita Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, again, right, so let me introduce myself first. I'm Erny Arniza binti Ahmad. I'm the fellow of the Open and Distance Learning Collaborative Group, CIDL UiTM Shah Alam. Today I will be moderating, I will be hosting this session. Right. So before that, I would like to read the housekeeping rules for our sessions. First, definitely, I would like all the audience, please mute your microphone. But then unless you have the questions for our panels, you might unmute your microphone, or you can just write down your questions at the chat room, so that we can read your questions at the end of the session, during the question and answer sessions. Then what else? We have for the attendance link. It will be provided 15 minutes before the session ends. And then I would like to remind you to provide the active email address, so that we can send you the materials and also all the recorded videos, or the links for the recorded session today. Okay, right. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our panels today. So we have three panels, three honorable panels today, that will join us for the session. So today we'll be talking about the research opportunities in open and distance learning. Basically, we try to cover the three cluster in UiTM, the science and technology cluster, and then we have the social science and humanities cluster, and also the business and management cluster as well. Okay, right. So we have for today we have three panels. First one, we have Professor Dr. Hajah Aziah Haji Alias, the Director of Academic Development, the Academic Affairs Divisions UiTM Shah Alam. Assalamualaikum and welcome, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for having me here.
How are you today, Prof?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Still standing.
Hope everything goes well. Alhamdulillah, insyaAllah. So the second panel, we have the Associate Professor, Dr. Shahriman Zainal Abidin. So Dr. Shahriman is the Deputy Director of Logistics and Transportation for Nexus UiTM, Renew. At the Office of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation UiTM. And then the third panels, here we have Dr. Prasanna Ramakrisnan. Hi, Doctor.
Hi.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation, for sharing.
Thank you, Dr. Anna. So Dr. Prasanna is the Head of Information Technology Services at the Institute of Continuing Education and Professional Studies, ISEPS UiTM Shah Alam. I will go through the background later on during the sessions. So without further ado, shall we start? Shall we begin with our first panel? Welcome, Dr. Shahriman. Right, so we begin with our first panel. We have here Professor Dr. Hajah Aziah Haji Alias, the Director of Academic Development. From the Academic Affairs Division, at the Office of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International. So a little bit background of Professor Dr. Hajah Aziah.
Dengar tak?
Dengar, Doctor.
Okay. Saya
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Right, so would you like to continue with Prof. Dr. Hajah Aziah? Okay. So, Prof. Dr. Hajah Aziah Haji Alias also is a professor at the Faculty of Education, UiTM Shah Alam. For information, Okay, Prof. Dr. Hajah Aziah also is a recipient of a gold award, okay, for the AgTech Leadership in Asia for Tertiary Technology (ICT) for development, focusing on how technology can cater to the learning needs of special learning groups, okay, such as adult learners, senior citizen learners with special needs, and also marginalized learners in remote areas. Okay, right. So, Prof. Okay, you ready? So, I'm handing over to you. So, orang tak sabar nak dengar lah ni. Okay, so, okay, dipersilakan, Prof.
Terima kasih Puan Erny. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday afternoon. I hope you're game for this. So we're going to make it, I think, short sessions of the three of us, and then we will have more discussion. Betul kan, Erny?
Betul, Prof.
Yeah, okay. Let me just share my content. What I am going to do, inshallah, is to give a more general idea of the research that we can do in teaching and learning, rather than talking specifically in terms of grants or whatever. So I believe that in this session, we are not going to tell you how to get the grants and so on. Am I right, Dr. Puan Erny?
Okay, so for that part, I think
Maybe
Dr. Shahriman,
will do
okay,
that.
you will
Yes.
share on that.
Good. Dr. Shahriman will do that. So I am from the Office of the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International. So what we do is from the beginning of the ODL, we have been looking across the board in terms of evidence and data and so on. So we understand there's a lot of things that we can do in terms of research. So we don't want to forget research, because research is something that all of us will have to do. So let me just share this. I think some of you may have seen this, but this is the journey that we took for the past 5 to 6 months, and look at the data that we have collected. It's very massive. We got 60,000 students answering readiness, and we got data on participation. We have data on student signal search. We've got data on ODL experience. So these are all using specific instrument. Then we have TESA ODL from 7,000 lecturers. Of course, we have SUFO data, and we have ODL award nomination data. And in September, we collected data from 40,000 Dean's List recipients. So that massive data is they are there, and we are sure that a lot of people, when you look at this, you can see a lot of things can be done in terms of research. So when over the 6 months, we've got lots of issues to explore, which basically, when we say explore, you can do a more in-depth dive in and do research in all these areas if you want to look at issues. So we've got about things about learning environment, connectivity, platforms and tools, psychological issues, isolation and fear, great anxiety, logistic, time management, scheduling, ODL skills, collaboration and reaching out, family support. I can name a lot more. Okay, and of course we also need to zoom in on the assessment and the assignments and the validity of assessment. So what I'm going to do today is, all right, and that is what we've done for the past 6 months. Of course, we are academic, so we need to move forward. So when we need to move forward, we do research to inform a lot of things, right? So some of the things that we can see is, again, revisiting assessment, look at how students learn, moving from pedagogy to pedagogy, and who is that educator 5.0, that ODL practitioner that we can actually shape, looking at the difference in roles and so on. Also about flexible, ubiquitous learning, accessible resources, and technology-rich learning environment. So we've got what we've done in the 6 months, and we've got something to look forward to. So as we go along next semester, we hope we are not going to be like last semester, because we were really hard pressed for time. We were trying to figure out how to deliver and so on. But next semester, we are going to be more relaxed. So hopefully, we can do some research, right? So we can look at many dimensions, but as I said, I'm going to look at the things generally from our perspective. So we can look at the learners, again, environment, content, experience, and outcome. And hopefully, when we do this, we want ODL research next semester is about improving practice and informing policy, but you get this perk by when you have the data and things to publish and report, you get to share and disseminate through publications. So we are not saying that, I mean, you will not say waste time, but you will do two things at the same time, and you're going to enjoy it actually, especially if you're somebody very passionate in ODL. Yes, okay. So what I'm going to do for the next 20 minutes or so, if Puan Erny permits me, I'm going to go through 7, I call it research notes. This is basically what I see as what we can do when it comes to ODL. We seek to understand learning, understand learners, design supportive learning environment, learning experience, solve a problem. We do research to solve a problem. We seek to understand change and higher education challenges. We seek to track, assess, and evaluate. And some of us will go further to model or to establish a theory. So if you bear with me as I go through all this, research note number 1. What can we do in understanding learning? Because learning, we all know, is very complex. 10 years ago, when I taught students, they are different from those who came in, who's coming in and who came in last semester. So we can look at when we want to understand learning, we need to understand the subject matter. How do people learn? What is effective? And when we talk about learning outcomes, it's not just cognitive, affective, psychomotor anymore. There's also a bridge or an integration of cognitive and affective. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some of this research that has been published by people, and most of them are basically either online learning or ODL. So look at this, looking at emotion and cognition, in terms of student reflection. So for those of you who use blogs and so on, so get students to write reflection, there is a research there's a way to do research through the students' reflection, right? And to look at emo-cognitive dimension. Another one, social learning. A lot of social learning taking place when you do ODL, because they have to learn with their friends, or they may not be able to learn with their friends. So we can do research in that area as well. Next, this is becoming very crucial now, what we call universal design of learning. Again, can be a research topic or a research area that you can look into, because UDL is really, the framework is kind of big that you can take one portion and do research on. Okay, so the second research note that I want to put in is, this is a very vast area again, to seeking to understand the learners. So look at the learners, their preference, their learning needs, the learning culture in terms of psychosocial, self-esteem, self-efficacy, self-determination, social competence, resilient, persistence, you name it. There are lots and lots of things that can be done in order to understand the learners and actually do a research. Is it difficult to do this research? No. You have the data right there with you, with the students, right? And you have access to the data. And if you were to collaborate among the lecturers who's teaching the same subject, for example, you got a lot of data. If you collaborate among lecturers in this campus with another campus, you got a bigger pool of data that you can work on. So, for example, resilience. There's an instrument to measure resilience. Or look at that, academic self-concept, right? So that is another one that you can look at when students go online. So we can measure academic self-concept. most of these the ones that I'm showing you are basically pretty recent. I try my best to limit all this research that I'm showing to about 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years. So in this case, ICT use, mental health symptoms, and well-being. But this particular person looks at historically disadvantaged ODL. So you can even do one case study. If you're in Sarawak, do a lot of case studies because we've got many cases, Sarawak, Sabah, and also some other areas in Malaysia where students cannot get this ICT access and so on. How does it affect them? Okay, so here in South Africa, they were looking at, I saw this personal stress, coping with personal stress, technology skills and proficiency. We're still talking about the learners. So this one looks at learners' ability to use technology in distance education, right? This is a very impactful journal actually, Turkish Online Journal of Distance Education. We can also go for student persistence in the ODL, students' characteristics and knowledge on ODL concepts at first registration. So students coming in, new students, go investigate or research their concept. Research note number 3 is to design supportive learning environment and learning experience. Many of you, I just followed a webinar this morning, look at the ODL award winner, Cik Amin, how he uses technology. Is very interesting, but it is very good if he can even put it into a research and actually look at how students use all these tools and all this platform and all these things that you put together. So you want to go into design and evaluate. You want to go into innovating something and then testing it and evaluating and reporting it as a research, right? So go research MOOC. MOOC, many of you are using MOOC. Okay, people are researching MOOC. Oh, this is one. Actually, I like this one. We call it ethnography. You're using a lot of WhatsApp and Telegram. So actually, whatever conversation or interaction on WhatsApp and Telegram can be a research on its own because you are using the method we call ethnography. We used to call it ethnography. This is ethnography. Now you go on the net, we call it ethnography. So it has been published before by these people from Nigeria. So building community and constructing identity on WhatsApp. So you go use ethnography, right? Or you can even look at online learning environment as the third teacher. We know the third teacher is the environment. The first teacher is you. The second teacher are the peers. The third teacher is the environment. How do you put together the environment? It's not easy now because they are all online and you somehow, the little cues and whatever that you do, those are the things that you want to design and then evaluate it. So I put here a picture drawn by my research, one of my research peer, Dr. Azhari from UiTM Kedah. He's from AD. He drew this after we collected a lot of data throughout Malaysia from students in primary school. This question is very simple. What is your idea of an ideal learning environment? So we collected the data, qualitative and also quantitative, but we presented it in terms of this. So student kata apa? Kerja rumah disiapkan di sekolah, tak mau dia balik rumah. This is sekolah impian. And we still see students asking for penghawa dingin and so on. So it's interesting, right? So we can even do that. Okay, we can also look at some tools, how in the context, subjected to a group of students in a specific program. Like this one is health studies student. Or we can look at this one. He has an idea of a model he called CTBL lah, FBL lah, OTLA lah, and all this. So he modeled it and evaluated it, right? So these are all design and evaluate. Research note number 4, now you are very, focused to that learning problem in your class. I taught physics for many years. I knew there are problems in teaching physics. So I want to solve that. So I can do that. We can have an action-oriented research. You develop an intervention and you can evaluate. You can also define the problem, motivation ke, interest ke, and then again develop an intervention. So let's say you got lots of points of difficulties in your class. So look at this. This is one article from the American Society for Microbiology. That article is on teaching lab-based courses online and remote. From, are you kidding me? To, this is effective. So this person actually evaluate the effectiveness of lab-based, what they do to lab-based courses online, right? Okay, so STEM people, effects of mathematics, innovation and technology on student academic performance. You have the results of your students. If the faculty pull together, you can get a lot of data again from student performance. Okay, do they perform better in terms of project work? Do they do better in online tests? Again, we can do that. But this is basically more on the tools. Okay, so this is another one, looking at interactive online tools for the study of anatomy. You develop that tool and you evaluate to see whether students who studied anatomy with all the learning problems in anatomy, whether it is being solved or not. Okay, research note number 5. Okay, I believe I'm still on time. Research note number 5, you seek to understand change and education challenges. Right. We can look at the multifactorial issues or in terms of education. The social media coming in, the culture of our students, or we can look at sustainable education, access, equity, the notion of equity among your students, the digital divide, and so on. So this is a very interesting, to me, it's very interesting if we do this kind of research because we look at a bigger thing. For example, this is one, online and remote learning in higher education institute. This is very big. I think Wahab here published very early, so he got like 7,284 reads by the time in May 2020 alone, right? So, and when it comes to the lecturer's role, now that things have changed, these are three research articles: engaging, innovating, and inspiring, the paradox of the mediated voice of award-winning teachers. So we've got, for example, 10 award-winning ODL lecturers. We can do a research on all these 10 and see how they change their role and how they manage their online classes. Or we can do this, power to empower. Now we move from pedagogy to hortagogy, but this is on the conceptions of teaching and learning in a pedagogical co-design partnership, meaning I work with my student, this is a design, and then I look at the effectiveness or I evaluate certain dimension, right? Okay, that's another one, partnership, motivation, barriers, and understanding. How students at 4 universities perceive student faculty partnership programs. So we have student faculty partnership program? Maybe not, but we can again think of how we can do research in 4 universities. It's now quite easy when it comes to teaching and learning, right? Because we do a lot of things again online. We don't have to go there to collect data. You have a friend in UMT, you have a friend in UKM, you have a friend in USM, you can do this. Okay, so online learning readiness. When it comes to change, we always measure readiness. We can publish that. And all right, so next one, research note number 7. Now we can go beyond all the delivery and so on. We look at the evaluation part. So we can look at the achievement of learning outcomes. What are the success factors? How can you assess learning behavior in class? and online, right? And so on. So we can analyze students' online learning behavior in blended courses using Moodle. For example, this one using Moodle, but you are using UFuture lah, Google Classroom, and so on. So this is one research. Another one. How many of you actually do you know Rush? Okay, people are using Rush a lot, and I think we should go into this. So this is one assessment of procedural skills in physiotherapy education, a measurement study using the Rush model. You may want to use this for all the online exams that you have done last semester or the coming one, or the open book exams that you are going to have next semester, right? Okay. Okay. Another one we are evaluating. There's a lot of this success factor, supporting students to succeed, student success rate, and this one in fact look at student success rate in open distance learning setting through the principle of constructive alignment. Oh, you all ni ramai pandai constructive alignment. So maybe you can do you can look at the data through constructive alignment and actually publish that. Okay, so we have PLS SAM for people who are more familiar with statistics. So now you can do some form of modeling and look at service quality and satisfaction in ODL. Right? So more challenges. You can do challenges. You can do work and schooling challenges in open and distance learning. So this is more on seeking to track and evaluate. Oh, that's another one. This is one. Look at this research. Effects of e-learning in a continuing education context. So we can do an ODL context, but this particular research is a systematic review of systematic, qualitative, quantitative, and mixed studies review. I think if you are into, especially medical and so on, you do a lot of systematic review. In fact, we in social science are doing this too now. So we've got a lot of research. What you do is at your desktop, you do a systematic review and you have people working with you. This is also interesting. Okay. You ask me, it's all interesting, but of course, some of us, we have the constraint of time. But again, we have a lot of data, I tell you, and if we work together with someone else or with another group, we can surely do this. Okay. The last research note that I'm going to push, there are many. This is not exhaustive again, but the last one is to seek to model or establish a theory. You are into this. You notice something about online facilitating. You have this idea about a good model, or you have this framework to connect the students, to support the students. So this is good. What you do is you read some more. This is for people who are really into TNL, for example, and look at the model. I'm sorry, that is learning theory that we already have. Please do not be overwhelmed, but we've got lots of learning theory, but you may come up with yours, right? In fact, you can have an eclectic kind of theory, or you can have an integrated theory for your from your research and exploration. So you can do this. So for example, here's one. Facilitating student engagement through education technology. Now it's a conceptual framework. So you can come up with a conceptual framework. I saw some of the journals are actually accepting conceptual framework, but not many. They still need a lot of, when you do conceptual framework, you still need a lot of data to back how you come up with the framework and so on. So for example, I have on my desk here, I'm reviewing an article review from a Q1 paper actually in education, who's talking about captology, and this person is doing a framework, a conceptual framework, and basically a design framework for captology, how technology persuade us. We call it persuasive or something. I'm sure computer science people know that, right? So we have factors affecting students' acceptance of e-learning, or maybe you can do something like that. Or this is about online distance learning. Again, the one that I showed just now, this is also modeling, right? Okay, so we have 7. So from all the ones that I have mentioned, let me just show you. This is just, how do I say it? Saya main-main je letak semua construct and variables ni from my experience and from what I've been doing all this while. I'm sorry, this is actually learning experience, not leaning. Please do not lean. Okay, when we do readiness, we've got connectivity, device usage, access to resources, preparedness, learning support. We've got cognitive support, affective support, meta-cognitive support, right? Mental well-being, we can talk about coping skill, emotional well-being, mindfulness. There's this idea of grit, resilience, self-efficacy. If you're into policy, you can look at how people do scenario planning and to think of learning agility, agile organization and so on, learning organization. Technology leadership, you may want to look at systemic thinking of technology leaders, engagement, interaction, self-direction of learners, self-regulation, motivation. Now with ODL, you can actually research global readiness, look at cultural disposition, look at students' perceived value of global readiness. Do they feel that it's important to them, is of value? You can also look at social presence, how cohesive is the community of learners in your class, for example, or in your course. Interaction intensity, learning, not learning, learning preference, approaches, habits, look at satisfaction, quality of ODL support. Okay, I can go on and on. In fact, when I put this up, I think nanti dah tak muat slide pula, dah banyak sangat. But actually, there are a lot of things that we can do. Success factors alone, I just put performance, but there are lots and lots of success factors when it comes to ODL. That includes also retention, attrition, and access, and effectiveness. Okay, this is a big thing in ODL, situational, dispositional factors, and even institutional factors. If I'm not wrong, I saw Dr. Fasiha's name on the participants list just now. So the institutional factors is one important factor for the success for ODL. All right. So when we're researching learning in terms of design, I won't go in much. I think we all know descriptive, but some of us are getting into this design base. We design, we evaluate. Also, normally it's a mixed research kind of. Of course, you're familiar with experimental and correlational kind of thing. Correlational, we start with correlational, but you can go on to modeling and so on, right? Okay, so of course, we can do a lot also in terms of multiple integrated. First part, we do qualitative. Second part, we do quantitative. So that's also another way of doing research. You can come up with new instrument, or you can even come up with a new model, like I said just now. Okay. So of course, general in terms of challenges, in terms of in this era, we maybe to generalize. I don't think it's so much of challenge now, because if you can work across universities and campus, you can really do this. The skill, of course, then the ethics when it comes to using learner data, right? Okay, so how do we say case study is lower and qualitative is lower in the hierarchy of research design? I don't think so. It depends on your research objective and your research question. So I take this from geoscience education research. They put this as the lowest lah, when you just looking at practitioner wisdom. But as you go further up, you can do qualitative and quantitative case studies. I personally like case studies because it's actually very in-depth, and you learn something from case study. You learn a lot from case studies. And you can also do some form of cohort studies. Of course, at the moment, they are putting meta-analysis and systematic review at the pinnacle, at the top, in terms of research design. Okay, so to recap, these are the 7 things. Again, you can add some more. To me, this alone is already a lot. So you can change. You can choose 1. You can choose 2. Do it at the same time, and then just and just to figure out. But at least if you see these 7 things, you know what actually that you want to do research on. Okay, so what I want to say is that I know we want to do research, we want to publish, we want to go for promotion. Some of us feel that way. But I've been here 33 years. Research has always been something that I love to do because it's really, I really believe in this. It's creating new knowledge. It's new ways to teach the student, new ways to handle the student, new ways to do things in terms of academic and so on. So maybe if we start with that, we feel a lot, you know, how do you say, it's something that we do with pleasure, and inshallah it will inform, like I said, our own practices in our classroom, and it will help us at the academic affairs to inform policy, and it will also help you in terms of disseminating and generating more knowledge in that area. So that's all from me. Thank you. All the best to everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Professor Dr. Hajah Aziah Haji Alias. Okay, for the very inspiring talk. Okay, on the research opportunities. So basically, Prof. Okay, 7 research notes. Oh, it's quite a lot. So pilihlah nak yang mana satu pilihan hati kan. So then basically kan Prof, if we read through the literature, it's actually the attempts to study on the ODL, okay, trends on in ODL, it actually begins in 1990s.
Yes.
Right. Okay, start to do research on the trends, okay, on the, what you call that, the research topic, methods, and also citation trends also is part one of the research, okay, has been conducted. Okay, and again, okay, due to the pandemic, okay, so it opens, okay, more and more research opportunities in open and distance learning, right? So basically, orang kata apa, pensyarah ni dalam semester depan ni, instead of doing the focusing on the teaching and learning, okay, they can kill two birds with one stone kan. Semester satu boleh collect data and then do the research and also the publication as well, right?
Yes. We would like research to be brought into the classroom. It's not classroom satu benda, research satu benda. No, you do it together, then only we can do things better lah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Prof. Okay, so we keep the questions until the end of the sessions. Okay, we went through all the questions from the audience. Okay, during the question and answer sessions. Okay, right. Thank you, Prof. Okay, we will proceed with our second panels. Okay, Prof, you please stay with us. Okay, until end of sessions. Okay, I think the audience has a lot of questions to ask later on. Okay, sebab dia orang tengah duduk capture all the ideas. Okay, nanti banyaklah soalan dia akan tanya. Okay, Prof. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so then we move to our second panel for today. Okay, so we have here Associate Professor Dr. Shahriman Zainal Abidin. Okay, again, Assalamualaikum, Dr.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Right, okay, so Professor Madya, okay, Associate Professor Dr. Shahriman Zainal Abidin is the Deputy Director of Logistics and Transportation for Nexus UiTM Renew of the Office of Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation UiTM. Associate Professor Dr. Shahriman also is an Associate Professor at the Faculty of Art and Design UiTM Shah Alam, right, Doctor? Okay, and recently, okay, he just won the anugerah penyelidik terbaik, okay, bagi kelompok sains sosial dan kemanusiaan. Okay, tahniah, Doktor. Okay, and okay, his research areas, okay, is on design thinking and also form giving. Am I right, Doktor?
Yep.
Okay, so ini adalah sifu pada design thinking, and he has also published a book on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Shahriman will share with us, okay, his experience in research and publications, okay, in his session now. So without further ado, okay, I hand over the session to you, okay, Doctor. Okay. Right.
Okay, thank you, Puan Erny, for the introduction. Okay, my name is Shahriman Zainal Abidin. Today I've got sore throat, so that is why my voice a little bit affected. Okay, talking about research, research is always been defined as a search for knowledge or systematic investigation with an open mind And the reason is that we want to establish a novel facts by using a scientific methods. And if you look at current phenomena, when the pandemic COVID-19 hit all over the world, the game of research, it seems to be changed. If you look, most of research and innovation, when you make a networking with partners from other countries, normally the use of uh, Google Meet or WebEx or Zoom become common. Yeah. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about research, how we can get research uh, and the strategy to apply or to make a proposal. Okay, this is the outline of my presentation. I will talk about Malaysian government aspiration clustered in migrant research fund priority areas. What is health and well-being? What is green technology? What is Industry 4.0? What is Internet of Things? What is artificial intelligence? What is Malaysian identity and branding? And what is social harmony and happiness, quality education, forecast and future directions? Okay, can you move to the next slide? Okay, next slide. Okay, when we talk about applying research in Malaysia, you need um, to try to listen carefully about what statement made by the Prime Minister, because every statement made by the Prime Minister, normally it is opportunity for you to gain a research grant. So it is good if you can carefully listen any new statement from the Prime Minister in order for you to get grant. Okay, next. Next, please. Okay, before that, before. Okay, and you need to know what is all about in Rancangan Malaysia ke-11 because at this point of time, if you look at the Rancangan Malaysia ke-11, it is still relevant for the funder to fund your research grant, especially for Malaysian Ministry of Higher Education. Yeah. Okay, next. For international research opportunity, grant opportunity, normally you can search the information based on the forecast from Frost and Sullivan, because Frost and Sullivan is an agency and they always make a prediction what's happening in the future. If you look at the recent recipient of FRGS, you can see that what has been mentioned by Frost and Sullivan 3 years ago, it is a reality right now, especially the area of Industry 4.0 in particular. Okay, next. Okay, this is what happened in the Ministry of Higher Education. If you look at this trend, the government of Malaysia, they will always give an emphasis for the research in the form of study on B40, translational research, and there are several niche areas that have been granted for for research, and then sustainable development goals, Internet of Things, Industry 4.0, big data. Last time during Datuk Sri Najib, there is a TN50, but it is no longer as a preference if you want to apply a national grant. So just focus on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 area. Yeah, because this is the trend at the Ministry of Higher Education. Okay, next. And if you want to write a research proposal, it is good if you can make it a that research can be translated, meaning that a translational research, from basic from basic research to clinical research. You can translate it from basic to human studies, or from clinical research to improve healthy. You can translate of a new knowledge into clinical practice. Okay, next. And if you want to develop a research proposal, it is good if you can embed in the proposal that your contribution will be useful for the government, academic, industry, and citizen. This is what they call it a quadruple helix innovations. Next slide. And yet, if you, there is a demand from the Ministry of Higher Education, if you can make your proposal that benefit the quintuple helix, which is the environment is an additional of from that. Okay, next. And not to forget, there's a 17 area in the Sustainable Development Goals. So it is good if you can use among area in SDG into your proposal. Okay, next. Next, please. Patah balik belakang. I'm not controlling the slide because I don't know why I cannot share slide from my laptop. Okay. Furthermore, it is good if you can linking research agenda to national priority area, or NKRA, which is from on the left side is the sector keutamaan negara and SDG. It is good if you can make a connectivity between these two areas. Okay, next. So Internet of Things become popular because of it is a trend. Nowadays, people will always use internet for every kind of communication, even to purchase something. Everything can be done through the internet. Okay, next. And big data, it is a trend where people will always try to save your data virtually, instead of using a pen drive. There's a tool where you can save your data virtually and save like a cloud data. We don't know where your your data will be saved, but it seems that by using cloud data, the task become more easier and efficient. Okay, next. Okay, when you write a proposal, because most of research in Malaysia, it is user-centric, it is good if you can consider at the end of the study, the outcome should be benefited to the B40, a group of B40. B40 means a family with a household income less than 3,800. So that's a B40. Okay, next. And if you go to the KPT, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, you can see that the Ministry of Higher Education still focusing on this 10 area, 10 area. Okay, next. Next, please. Oh, before this slide. And if you look at the the current in current practice, normally if you do research, you will be able to give a point for Myra. So if you manage to get a grant or supervise a postgraduate students and try and make an innovation, normally you will give a point for grant, especially for UITM. Okay, next. And at the same time, you will also can give a point for other world university ranking, such as time higher education, QS ranking, or Weibometric rankings. Okay, next. And if you look at the redesign of higher education, especially in the, if you go to the Ministry of Higher Education, you can see that this intent from the Ministry of Higher Education is still relevant up to right now. So because at the Ministry of Higher Education, they always talk about ICGPA, the TVET, the faculty program, translational research, APEL program, Malaysia MOOC, and 2U, 2I. Okay, next. So, and again, when you manage to get research, normally you will contribute, to the ranking of universities, which you where you can see in the slide. Okay, next. Okay, cluster in migrant. Next. Okay, this is what happened at the Ministry of Higher Education. If you want to apply grant, you should know the position of the grant provider or the funders. If you want to apply a grant which is under art and applied art, it is good if you can give more emphasis on the user and user-driven and innovation. And if you want to apply a grant which is more on technology and engineering, it is good if you can focus more on invention and technology-driven. Okay, next. So this is how we can compare with migrant and international grant and the government aspiration. If you want to apply international grant, it is good if you can relate this area, this funder like a UNESCO, Erasmus, Milton Uncle Omar, the Royal, the Research Council of Norway, and Torre, innovation by chemistry. So this is what we at the Research Nexus notice when we want to develop a proposal. It is good to position our proposal into this dimension. Okay, next. This is what happened in the 1996 up to 2006 based on cybermetric spotlight. You can see that at that particular point of time, researcher always work in silo. Next slide, please. Later in the year of 2011 up to 2015, it seems that a researcher tried to mingle around with another researcher from other disciplines. Next slide, please. And yet you can see that the multidisciplinary or cross-disciplinary happen in research paradigm, where you can see that a plenty number of researchers they like to work with people from other disciplines, which is good because this is what the Ministry of Higher Education intend to when they want to fund you a grant, they will try to look at the team member, whether you are from your own discipline or you can work with people from other discipline as well. Okay, next please. Normally talking about research deliverable, at the end of your research, instead of developing a framework, you can also write in your proposal that your research deliverable can be in the form of kit or diagnostics tools or system or database, new plan for variants, equipment, instrument, policy paper, and etc. And the impact should be on the society, government, industry, and academia. Okay, next. And the outcome normally will be on the talent development, research publication, and the intellectual property. So this is the deliverable or the outcome of the proposal. Okay, when you write a proposal, you need to be careful because your proposal needs to be in line with the national priority area, and then in line with the global research demand. That is why I encourage you to Google at Frost and Sullivan website in order for you to understand the focus of the research. So when you write a proposal, normally the panel at the Ministry of Higher Education, they will reject your proposal based on the technical default. Means that when you not meet any assessment criteria, the panel will reject your proposal. This is what they call it, a technical default. And then when they feel that the total of grade is less than a certain volume, then they will reject your proposal as a technical knockout. Okay, when you write a proposal, please make sure it is specific in nature, that reflect fundamental issue to be resolved or novelty, and you need to give a brief and reflect the content of proposal. And then on the summary, executive summary, you need to write in proper what is your problem statement, objective, methodology, expectation, output, outcome or implication, and the significance of output. For research background, you need to elaborate a type of title, clarity of problem statement and research question, hypothesis and theoretical framework if applicable, and cite most recent 5 years related references and in line with the government policy, national agenda, global aspiration. Okay, next slide, please. And then your research needs to be on the objective, it is good if you can address your proposal based on the smart element, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and within a time frame. And on methodology, you need to give a clear and detailed description of methodology, and then able to achieve research objective, include research design, flowchart, Gantt chart, activities and milestone. And for expected result, you need to show the new theory or new knowledge or new findings. And then publishing in index journal, normally a top tier, and then intellectual property, human capital, either master or PhD, impact on society, economy, and nation. And for track record and composition of teams, you need to provide an evidence of previous research successful. Evidence of previous successful research project, qualification of rank of research, well-balanced team, and for the quality proposal, it is good if you can make your proposal meticulous. Meticulous. If you can try to make it robust, propose use of language. It is good if you can ask somebody who can make a proofread of language. So it will help. It will be helpful when come to the assessment at the Ministry of Higher Education. And good formatting and presentation. And on the element of FRGS, you need to make sure it is novel, cutting edge, and high impact. Okay, next. And then this is the vote. Okay, this is the vote. There is a vote 11,000, which is more on salary and wages. Normally this is for postgraduate students. And then there's a vote 21,000 traveling and transportations, and vote 24,000 rental, vote 27,000 research and supplies, vote 28,000 maintenance and minor repair service, vote 29,000 professional service, vote 35,000 accessories and equipment. Okay, next. So if you look at the right side, this is the before. Okay, this is how the selection been made. If you manage to get 79 grade onwards, onwards, you will not able to get. Sorry, if you manage to get your total mark 80% onwards, meaning 80% to 100, you will be considered to get grant from the Ministry of Higher Education. That's the grading system. And then there is additional demand from the Ministry of Higher Education if you can provide the intent letter or patent search and the risk management information. It is really help you to get grant as well. Okay, next please. Okay, the important point when you apply a research grant, you need to know what is the interest of potential funder, and how to generate the idea for the area of interest or curiosity, and then research framing, either descriptive, exploratory, or explanatory, hypothesis, which is on the educated guess, whether you want to write it down or not. And then knowledge of the state of scientific discipline, and the knowledge of social problem. Is your proposal fundable to develop a potential solution to current problem, short and precise. Okay, next please. This is the new FRGS guideline 2020. As I mentioned to you, you are encouraged to give an extra information on the pattern search. The first one. Second, letter of intent, from your from the industry or from any stakeholder, and then the next is on the risk management. If you can give the information risk management on the technical time and the budget. And then later you need, if you can provide ethic approval in the proposal, it is good to include that as well. Okay, next please. Reason for rejection, normally because of technical rejection and no connectivity, proposal not fall within research scope of national priority area, similarity to the previous proposal or at current pool, and then similar at the application previous proposal without any changes, problem statement are not clear stated, research question are not clear stated and not related to the problem statement, and then objective do not answer the problem statement and do not match the method, and then objective are not specific, not measurable, project goals is not clear stated on the method, no new method or better method to answer the problem statement, research question and objective, and then missing in gap, do not due to non-comprehensive of research background, not clear research question, and then lack of novelty and impact, and research team is not strong to carry out research on the track record. Okay, next please. And if you want to develop a proposal, normally for FRGS, in particular, you need to make sure it is basic research, not applied research. So basic research means it is something invention, a new original idea. And when you write a proposal, normally you can start with modeling, describing, formulating, profiling, characterizing, and then the research objective normally why and how, and methodology is more on qualitative most of the time, and output normally it is on the model or a prototype. Okay, next please. This is an example of the title for FRGS for social science, such as pembinaan index, and then developing of framework, new framework, penilaian baharu, model baharu, and then development of policy framework, formulating of comprehensive legal framework, and so on. Okay, next please. And this is possible title FRGS for science and technology. You can start your proposal with mechanism, behavioral, interactions, correlation, formulation, reaction, kinetic, elucidation of relationship and role of. Okay, next. So in order for you to make a good title, please make sure your title is short, simple, concise, catchy, bombastic, overall work, and show the level of intensiveness, status of research, type of research, and area of expertise. So it seems that you need to make your proposal at the level of overzealous, so that people, the panel can see that, oh, this is the area that they may fund you a grant. Okay, important things about title. Please make it clear, informative title, specific and specific in nature, and brief and reflect to the concept of proposal. And then words that should be avoided for FRGS. Title is construction, development of, application of, and design. And avoid words that do not give any meaning in your title, like a study on, everything, investigation on, research on, the problem of, the effect of, assessing, basic study of, theoretical investigation of, fundamental study of, new study of, novel theory. Next. So this is the information from the Ministry of Higher Education. If you want to apply FRGS or TRGS or RRGS or PRGS, you need to make sure that what things needs to be focused when you applying that particular grant. I think at the end of the this session, if you want to have this slide, I can ask the secretariat to share this slide to all of you, in order to make sure that you can get something for takeaway at the end of my presentation. Okay, next please. Okay, research fund priority area. Next. Okay, this is the research fund priority area for the year of 2020. First is jaminan makanan or food security, energy security, plantation crops, cyber security, water security, biodiversity, healthcare and medicine, environment and climate change, and transportation and mobility. Okay, next please. Research cluster for 2020, it is more on food safety, security, basic infrastructure, climate change and environment, health, and then education and knowledgeable civil society, national security, socio-economic and well-being, and frontier technology and advanced manufacturing. The next. So research domain for 2020, it is there are 6 areas. One is pure and applied science, technology and engineering, clinical and health sciences, social sciences, art and applied arts, natural and cluster heritage, culture heritage, and information and communication technology. So if you want to apply PRGS in particular, you need to make sure that your proposal achieve at certain technology readiness level. Normally, at level 4. But if you can go higher than that, it is much better. For FRGS, normally you need to make sure that your concept or your proposal is at a level 1 or 2. It is not demand to shows that your FRGS will at the end of the research will produce an output that reflect the TR level more than 2. Okay, next please. So what is health and wellness? Next, if you look at the definition of health and wellness, it is about explore current concept in health, exercise and wellness, and learn how to shape your own personal health in the credits eligible course. Next please. So this is just an example of the health and wellness. It is about children, about the elderly. Okay, next please. And then about exercise, how to to maintain your health, by improving a certain way of life. Okay, next. What is green technology? Okay, green technology encompasses a continuous evolving group of methods and material, from techniques and generating energy to non-toxic cleaning environment. So normally it is about to make it green everywhere. Okay, next please. So even though you designing a product, you can use the characteristic of green characteristic into designing a product form. Okay, next please. What is Industry 4.0? Okay, next. Industry 4.0 become popular at this point of time. And if you look at the European Commission's framework, they always give priority for those people or those scholars if they want to submit a proposal. If the element of Industry 4.0 is there, you might be able to get international grant. And I believe in Malaysia it is more or less the same. So this is the Industry 4.0. It is more on cyber physical system, Internet of Things, and smart technology. Next, please. And if you look at the other ministry of instead of Ministry of Higher Education, like MITIC, and then MOSTI, they always talk the same thing. Okay, next, please. So this is just a visual show what is in Industry 4.0. Okay, everything on your fingertips. You can operate the machine from any from maybe from this cubicle area. Yeah. Okay, next, please. So you can activate any automation machine by using a fingertip as well. Next, please. And you can instruct the robot to assemble the components. Next, please. Even if you can develop an autonomous vehicle, you can create a less number of accidents because of the computer will control your movement, so you can reduce the risk of accidents. Okay, next please. So this is how the form look like. In design, the visual appearance of the product seems changed because of the technology. And then this is just an example of the if you can design a robot, the robot may help you as a servant in your house. Okay, Internet of Things. This is an example of Internet of Things. Everything is about computer devices. Next, please. And then you can control for your, any activity in your home place from your office. And then this is how the vehicle will look like in the future. Okay, next please. Even at your kitchen area, you still can manage just using a computer. And it seems that the use of Internet of Things in daily life become important nowadays. Okay, next please. Artificial intelligence is something to do with the computer science as well. Okay, next please. Next please. So this is how how we can interpret the Internet of Things. Okay, next please. And at this point of time, if you can do research, something that benefit to the Malaysian identity and branding, I think you will be able to get a grant. Because I used to get grant based on that particular proposal. So we got several items that reflects the product, the identity of Malaysia. And this is one of from my a case study with Proton last time. We managed to identify a locus that represent a genome or genetic or sequence map of the car. So Proton in the year of 2014, they always give emphasis on three areas. One is single graphic, aerodynamic line, and the connecting line. Before Geely took over, when Geely took over, the language become differ. Okay, next please. Next please. This is what happened when Proton use these three areas as a point of reference when they want to develop a car. Okay, next please. And social harmony and happiness. Okay. Okay, next please. This is how the characteristic of the happiness. So if you can, because at this point of time, most of the workers at government agency, even at the industry, they are stressed on their jobs. If you can give a model or framework that may reduce a number of risks, it is good, because this is on demand right now. Okay, next please. Okay, next please. This is just an example and the kind of quality education. So if you look at the way we do teaching and learning, the use of internet become common. So in the future, student will gain the information either through the internet or through the virtual reality environment. Okay, next please. So this is how the teaching and learning situation as an example. Okay, next please. And for focus and future direction, I think this is the last slide. Okay, when you write a proposal, you need to make sure that anything come from the Prime Minister, there's a opportunity for you to get grant. Please make sure that your research is translational research. There is a quadruple healing innovation on the deliverable, and your proposal should be focused on the OIT, Industry 4.0, and B40. And then, this is the chart. And if you look at the forecast in the year of 2021, for Industry 4.0, it shows that the market is projected to reach 15.09 billion. That's the forecast from the Technovio, meaning that it is still relevant. If you look at another forecast from this forecast agency, by the year 2025, the return of investment for the area of Industry 4.0 can up to 11.1 trillion per year. So this is a huge amount of money for those who for the for the investor or for education if they want to do research on Industry 4.0. Okay, next please. And then for Internet of Things, if you look here in the year of 2020, the return of investment is 50.1 billion. So that's the prediction from other prediction from the forecast agency. Okay, next please. And if you look what's from the intipati ucapan from our Vice Chancellor, Vice Chancellor encourage that UITM supposed to be university based upon research, entrepreneurship, innovation, and publication. Okay, next please. Good. Okay, this is what will happen in the future when we give more emphasis on Industry 4.0. You can see that the outlook of the environment will totally change. So this is what we can see like in the future. Okay, next please. And everything will be efficient, and normally it is for the intention of to improve the quality of life. Okay, next please. Okay, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much. If we got time, we got time to play the movie, 3 minutes movie.
Sure, Doctor.
Okay, can you play it now? I just want to share you one of my Erasmus Plus research where we developed a program, a new master degree program by using Industry 4.0 as an example. Okay, over to you. Thank you. Okay, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Associate Professor Dr. Shahriman Zainal Abidin for the very insightful presentation, okay, and so talk. Right. So basically, we can see that there is continuity from the previous talk by Professor Dr. Aziah Alias. Okay. So Professor Dr. Aziah, okay, talk about on how on what to focus on. Okay, right, in ODL, okay, for research, okay, but then it has been extended, okay, by your talk on how to focus on, right? So basically, Dr. Shahriman dah reveal dia punya some of the secrets, okay, how to secure all the grants, okay. So basically, I can say that what most important is to know how to align, okay, the research, okay, to the national priority area and also link it with the sustainable development goals, right, Doctor? So that is the main things, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, and then surprisingly, we know that now, okay, we have been graded. We have the grading system for our research. Okay, kalau students, okay, 40% and above lulus, sekarang kita 80% lulus. Okay, for the lecturer, you know, therefore your grants will be accepted. So you can need to get 80% and above. Okay. Okay. Right. So it is all the behind the scene. Okay. And then also Dr. Shahriman share on the how to forecast, okay, the future research in 2021. Okay. So we know what to focus on. We have the data already, and then we know how to focus. And then, okay, the also Dr. Shahriman also already shared the tips, okay, on how to secure the grant. Okay, so but then we can say at the end, okay, education is actually evolved, okay, along with the technology. Okay, so we have all the data. Okay, so the research is, or the opportunities is already around us, right, Doctor?
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Okay, so we share the question later on. Okay, we'll share the question later on during the I will read the questions later on during the question and answer sessions, because okay, we need to proceed with our third speaker. Okay, Doctor, thank you so much, okay, for your presentation.
Okay, sama-sama.
Okay, right. So okay, I would like to invite our third speaker. Okay, Dr. Prasanna, okay, anak perempuan Ramakrisnan. Hi, Doctor. Good evening.
Hi. Last speaker ni very challenging lah.
It's almost okay. Weekend already.
Yes.
Okay, right. So some introduction for Dr. Prasanna. Okay, so currently Dr. Prasanna is the head of Information Technology Services, okay, at the Institute of Continuing Education and Professional Studies, okay, ISAP CITM. Okay, she also is a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Computer and Mathematical Sciences, UiTM Shah Alam. Okay, her research area is in e-learning and gamification in learning. Okay, so for information, okay, Dr. Prasanna also has won the Anugerah Pengajaran, okay, for the kelompok teknologi. So congratulations, Doctor. Okay, so without further ado, okay, I just hand over the session to you. Okay.
Okay, very good afternoon to all. And Puan Erny already introduced me, so you can call me Anna. I have another name in UiTM actually, Anna. They also refer me as Anna. And besides the post that I hold, I also lead the team of gamification for CIDL collaborative group, where we do quite a number of research related on gamification inside the collaborative group. So what I will be covering, I mean, earlier we already see a series of sharing that is happening. So mine will be related on the tools. So the tools that's related on the learning and also on the research. What are the tools and what are the research that can be done with the tools that we have. So I will share my personal experience on few researches that I have done using the tools. So as we all know, okay, learning technology now is playing a very important role in ODL. So before this, most of us been using only 30% or maximum 50% for teaching and learning. But due to pandemic, all of us basically had to jump into the sea and try to swim and with whatever we had. So that learning technology is becoming very important. And the learning now is quite heavily influenced by the technologies that we have. But the issue now is we have a lot of lecturers using many platforms, many tools, but there is not much research has been conducted on how this technology is actually being used in an effective way in their teaching and learning. So this is what I will be sharing on. So when we look into the tools that we have various types of tools, especially in designing and also delivering. So when we talk about design, for content alone, we have content design. So most of us, we are using PowerPoint. We are just doing a recording, converting it to the videos. Some of you been using PowerTune, and quite a number of them also have their YouTube where they post their learning materials in YouTube, record their teaching video, and share it with the students. And besides that, on the learning activity parts, you want to engage the student in the learning activities, we do have some tools like class tools, H5P, hot potatoes that you can use basically to engage them in the learning through online. And on the assessment part, of course, we have UFuture to support the assessment as online. But beside that, we also found out that some lecturers do use Google Forms, basic Google Forms for their assessment, quizzes for quiz, Kahoot also for quiz, and exam.net. So these are some of the commonly used tools by the lecturers. So what I'm sharing now is basically the tools. And for the communication purpose, of course, they'll be using, if they're using, maybe they might be using WhatsApp. So if they're using LMS, they might be using the forum or discussion boards. So that's basically on designing the learning. So once we design the learning, we will bring the learning into a platform to deliver. So this is where the delivery of the teaching will take place. So during ODL, we have two types of delivery. One is synchronized and also the other one is asynchronized. So synchronized will be the live lectures that conducted by the lecturers. So these were the basic tools being used by the lecturers. So they've been using Google Meet. Most of them use Google Meet. And due to now coming semester onwards, most of us will find some issue with the Google Meet as the premium has expired and you won't have the recording features. And you can also use Zoom or WebEx. And for students that having difficulty to communicate with the lecturer synchronously using all this video-based platform, there are also lecturers conducted by using WhatsApp and also Telegram. They recorded the voice through the voice note and send it over to the students. And we had as low as lecturers who supported by sending through even WhatsApp normal messages to the students who don't have the network access. So these are the things that has been conducted for synchronized. For asynchronized, where that the learning that happens at any time, of course, we always recommend our platform, which is Island or UFuture. But besides that, we do have many lecturers using Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams. And those who don't want to use LMS, okay, you have to remember that LMS, it requires a kind of bandwidth which is higher. So those students having difficulty in accessing internet, there are also ways you can also use Padlet or Trello for the teaching and learning purpose. So maybe while I'm doing this, maybe I will share with you together. Is it okay for Erny to share also some of my things that I've been doing?
Sure, Dr.
Okay, so I think since it's research, but I think I will just share also how the teaching and learning basically happens. Okay, this is one way.
Dr. Anna?
Yes.
To interrupt, I think you need to share your screen because we cannot see your screen. Because if you you share the Windows, the browser, we can only see the browser. We cannot see the.
I wait. I shared the screen. Let me see. Okay, can you see now? It's taking quite long to load.
Yeah. So now I can see. Well, now you can see.
Oh, okay, because I was switching the screen just now.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is one way you can conduct where that this uses a very low bandwidth actually, where you use a digital board and you put all your content inside here, and the student basically can access the notes here, and you can track their learning progress. This is one way by using a digital board, because digital board, the bandwidth requirement is very low. So what you need is, rather than putting it in WhatsApp or Telegram, you have one screen that basically puts there, and the student can just access and read it. And another thing is, if you use Trello, you can also monitor the learning progress. You can see whether they have studied the topic, they have done some things that you require or not. This is one way. Or you can also use a simple digital board like this in Padlet. You can use for your classroom, or you can also use it for your portfolios. So if you have anything that you want to put on, you can use for that. Or if you want to use it for your class, you can also do it like this, where you can have a simple digital board where you can put all the discussion questions, all the softwares that you want to use, everything is here. So this is another alternative, because I realize that a lot of lecturers prefer to use WhatsApp, because when you put in WhatsApp, it's sometimes the students cannot see overview what's happening in that whole thing. But when you put it in a digital board, they can get an overview of the class. So what's happening in each of the learning, in the discussion, in the content, and so on. This is just sharing. So we will go back to our slide. Okay, so these are the tools. So when we use many tools like this, what is missing here is the research. So the effectiveness of using these tools in our teaching and learning. So perhaps maybe I can ask you all one question. You can just pick up your mobile, just scan it, and there will be two questions asked there. One will be the tools. I gave about 10 options. You can just put in as many as you want. And I also asked, did you did any research on the tools related to the learning? So maybe we can take 1-2 minutes for that to see what we get. Can we have more? We have 300 over. Those who don't have the QR code, you can just go to www.mentimeter.com and just put in the code, and you're able to see the questions appearing. Just a very two simple questions. So what I'm doing now is basically I'm getting some data. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing a classroom or online teaching, anything that you're doing is everything is on data. So we are having quite a number of data down here. So let's see what we are getting. Okay, I'll leave it here. Let it run. See, we will come back again. So I will continue with my slides. So we will come back later to see what is the response by how many participants we have. We have about 341 participants. So let's see how many data we managed to collect today. Okay, so this will be the examples of research that I personally did. I mean, Prof. Aziah would have has shared a range of areas that you can explore. So this is what I have worked together with lecturers from a few other departments. And I have developed a model called as the CAT model to design blended learning for skill-based courses. So when you do your learning, of course, you will have a unique way of designing your courses because every course is not same. So my course will be different, and those who are taking science will be different. So the learning design will be totally different. So when you design your learning, that can be a research that you can convert into a paper. So this is how the paper was produced. So earlier, when I started to design skill-based is basically I'm teaching multimedia codes. So when you're doing ODL, what happens is you have very limited time for face-to-face. So sometimes the skill that you want to deliver to the student, the time or the duration is very limited. So what I have done is I have designed a kind of learning, a self-regulated learning, so that they can learn the skills outside. So when they meet me for the limited time, there will be more on discussions. So that is how I actually developed the CAT model. So what we did is I collaborate from mechanical engineering to see how it works, and also Prof Z was our mentor to check and validate the model. And what we are doing next is we are trying to validate. So we extend it further. We're trying to validate the same model to be used in online course design. And this session is basically research opportunities, right? So what I'm doing is I'm opening to 343 participants down here. These are the topics related to learning design that I'm working on with lecturers across the faculty and also across the campus. So all this research that you see here is together with lecturers coming from different departments, different campus, and also different faculties. So if any one of you interested to join in our team, we still can accommodate one or two researchers, and we would like to open. So if anybody interested can buzz me later. So we are doing on gamification design methodology for teaching and learning for traditional and also for classroom learning. And we are also designing on self-directed learning for distance learning student and video pedagogy. And we realized that a lot of lecturers now producing videos. So the pedagogy on the video is something that is missing. So we are also exploring on that for online course. So if anybody interested, you can just give me a buzz. We can work on this, looking into the data that we can collect from different campus and different faculties. And the next one.
That's a very good move, Rotana.
Because I saw
inviting
it's
people. Yeah.
Huh? Yes, Prof?
When you invite people to come in and do research, I think that's a very good move.
Yeah, because I always work together. If you realize, I always work together cross faculty, and this time I want to work with cross campus. And for your information, gamification design methodology for teaching and learning, we have members from UiTM Muka, Sarawak, and also UiTM Jasin inside the team. And for every research, we have collaboration. So please do join us. We always welcome researchers who interested to do ODR researches. And this is another one on tools. Rubric-based online assignment. As you all know that UFuture, we already have online assignment with rubric-based. So the whole flow, the screen basically was designed by me. And what is lacking now is the research. And I also would like to open here lecturers that have been using online assignment module with rubric. And if you're willing to join us to give in your data, we would like to collaborate it and see the effectiveness of rubric-based online assignment to measure the students' learning performance. So this is what we want to do actually. So I really hope that those have been using UFuture and you already use the rubric-based assignment, and please contact me. We really want to work together with you to look into the effectiveness. So these are the 5 topics that I would like to open to all. So if anyone interested, please join us. Okay, so we will go back to the here. Okay, what we get here. Okay, we see a similar, okay, still coming in. Okay, basically we see most of them been using WhatsApp, Google Classroom, Telegram. So to say something like that. So these are the things, data that we need. So when you have this kind of data, you can explore further. In my case, when I look at the data, I want to do research why a lot of lecturers is not using our own LMS. So what is the issues down there? What are the lacking that, stopping everybody to use that? So, and if you look at the data, you might get some other ideas. So when you see a data, try to come up with something that you can work on from the data. And the second question was, and most of them did not conduct any form of research. So this is a very, good opportunities. So there's a lot of tools has been used during ODL last semester. Maybe last semester, all of us were in shock. We don't know what to do. And we were, struggling on our teaching and learning. So maybe this semester, most of us are kind of settled down. So we can look into the data that we got last semester and coming semester, and we try to populate some researches based on that. So this is one thing. And another thing, everything that you conduct in your classroom learning, everything is data. We have a lot of data in actually UFuture. And if anybody want to do any research, you can always contact me, and we will be there always to assist the lecturers who want to do research related to the data. So, okay, that's on the research. So basically, this is how I actually use my classroom data, whatever I do, and convert it into research base. And next, I will move on to the tools. Okay, what we do is, yes, we've been doing researches, a lot of things we are doing, but we want to do it fast. So we have many research tools that now is available, even UITM has subscribed it, where it can be easy for us if we try to explore how to use these tools. I know all of us are burdened with the teaching tool, but I'm also introducing a set of tools for you, not for you to make it easier for research. So first, most importantly, is your materials. So when you have your research materials, most of the times what we do is we tend to save it inside the computer, hard disk, or in pen drive. So rather than that, please try to use Google Drive. Google Drive now, we are in G Suite Education, where it gives you unlimited access, meaning that there's no access for the storage. You can keep how many articles or papers that you want, and you can store it inside there. So that's quite huge. And even OneDrive. All of us are in Microsoft 365, and we have about 1 terabyte. And maybe some of you are using Dropbox, but Dropbox is very limited. They only give you free 2 gigabyte. So what you can do is, for a beginning, for the start, you can actually set up all your drive inside here. So why is it important for us to set up in our computer or laptop all the drive is, whenever we are on move, we can access to the materials. That is one reason. So you can be anywhere and suddenly you thought of something, you can access to the materials and you can start populating some ideas from that. So that is why that is really important. Another thing is, pandemic now can happen anytime. So if you have a data in one location, it's very difficult for you to access. Rather than every time shifting from your computers, from your office, and moving to the laptop, when you set up this in your laptop, your handphone, and also your PC, everything is synchronized, and it's quite easy and fast for you to access it. Okay, so that's on research tools. Sorry, I don't have enough time to share, but I'm just sharing on the tools. And the second thing is on the how you want to manage your references. Of course, we have EndNote license and so on. But for those of you prefer to, like I am an open source person, where I prefer to have the open source thing. And if you're familiar with Mendeley, Mendeley is one of the good tool that you can use for your referencing, and it's quite easy to set up. And I even do my PhD with thousands of articles using Mendeley, free, never paid anything. And another one more is Zotero. Zotero is also good, but the difference is Mendeley allows you about 2 gigabyte free. Zotero, it's about 300 megabytes, so not much, but they are also good to use if you're using only for research purpose. But if you are planning to do your PhD or you're going to do your study leave, I will strongly recommend on Mendeley. Mendeley is very useful, and you can do the referencing much more easier, even for your research papers. And for data collection, yes, we have many. Of course, Google Form is there. And I'm not sure whether most of you are familiar with the Microsoft Forms or not. Microsoft Forms also allows you to do the data collection. And I remind everybody again, we have G Suite Education and we have Microsoft 365. Please utilize that to the maximum, because there's a huge advantage as us to be using this particular account. So allow us to collect unlimited, and you can do so many questions, and this will be great. How about Survey Planet and also Survey Monkey? They are there, but the thing is they are limited in terms of like Survey Monkey allow you to do 10 questions and also 100 respondent. Survey Planet, unlimited unlimited questions, but if you want to download the response, you have to pay. So these are the pro and cons. So you can pick which one you want to use. And on the data analysis, okay, I realized that when I see a lot of you had video-based content coming in. So if you want to analyze qualitative analysis, I will strongly recommend NVivo, because UITM have an account for NVivo and they always do trainings for lecturers, and try to utilize that. So, but if you are planning to do your PhD, I'm looking at both the area. If you have any participants down here who's planning to continue the PhD or what, you can also use Atlas TI, because Atlas TI allows a special pricing for students. And also you can use for qualitative analysis. But if you have survey data, that means you have collected survey from the students and you want to analyze that. If you're doing a basic analysis, you can use SPSS. But if you're looking into modeling, meaning that you want to create a model, a new model for learning, or you already have a model and you want to bring in some new factors inside, and you want to look into the structural model, you can use Smart PLS, because Smart PLS allows the exploratory of study. And MOS, if you want to confirm or fit the model inside, meaning that the example, there's already a learning experience model or learning, some models already available, and you just want to prove in Malaysian context, also can be used. Then you can run MOS to confirm that model can be used in Malaysian context. And Rush is actually my area. My PhD is basically on Rush. Rush usually we use when we want to create a scale. Let's say you want to look into students' ability. What I did was I used the scale to measure user interface. So how the student ability to share their knowledge using a certain interface. So that's also can be done. So Rush is something that we can explore further. So there's a lot of potential things that you can do, because some data that already populated by using earlier the models are there. But if you want to look into the ability of using that model, you can use Rush to populate. So you can also do scale. Look into student ability, you can scale it. Okay, this percentage, what is their ability? And this percentage, what is the ability? So you can do a lot of scaling there. So that's on data analysis. And for formatting your reports, of course, we have Microsoft Word. But along the way, I do notice that quite a number of them does not use fully the functions of Microsoft Word. We can do a lot of things in Microsoft Word. So meaning that when you want to do a research, you can do it or write it very quickly by using some shortcut, the styles that you set earlier, the automated referencing that you add into the Microsoft Word. So all this is possible, and if you are able to explore further on that, then your writing will be much more faster. And in terms of writing, improving the writing, even myself, sometimes I do make mistakes in grammars. So what I do is I install Grammarly. So when you install Grammarly, what Grammarly helps is whenever you do a mistake, automatically Grammarly will give you the solution and immediately you can change. Rather than you write everything and read it over, while you're writing, you can also check the sentences. Another important tools that you can use is ref and write. Ref and write is more like imitating a passage. Let's say you want to use one line from that paper inside your research, but you cannot use that because if you use it becomes plagiarism. But when you use ref and write will give you alternative wordings that you can use for that particular word or passage. So this is also very useful if you want to use, if you want to write research. And lastly, on the project management, and we are managing a lot of researchers, and some of you might have 2 or 3 researchers that you're working on. But if you want to keep track on the researchers, it's quite difficult. Then we will, usually we suggest that you use some research project management tools that you can use, like Padlet that I showed you just now. You can put it in the Padlet or Trello to see where's the progress. And lastly is Todoist. Todoist, they do have mobile. All these, they do have mobile version where you can work together. So basically, these are the tools. I know it's quite a number of tools you can explore. I do have a site that I actually always share with the lecturers. I will share it with you all later, where I do create short videos for the lecturers and also for students that requested on the tools, and they can learn on that. So these are some of it. And I think that's all from me. I try to finish it quite fast. Okay, so my last word is let's start collaborating. So collaborating is very important, especially cross faculties, because areas of expertise from different areas can create impactful ODL researchers. Thank you from me.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Prasanna. Okay, it's very a quick presentation from you. Penat nampak.
Yes. Yeah, because saya nak kejar masa sebab I was given only. So I'm really sorry. I actually I want to share on the tools because these are the tools that I always use. But unfortunately, I don't have the time. So if anybody want, you can just contact me. I just can share with you all.
Okay. We can arrange another session for you on tools in ODL research.
Yeah, I'm doing same call. I'm doing whatever I showed. I'm just picking up a few, and I'm doing in ILD 12 and 13 through online. So once the training is done, I will record and share it so that everybody can see what are the tools. Because the tools that I showed is the one I will pick a few to share in that particular training.
Okay, that's good. That's great. Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much for the information, Dr. Anna. So basically, okay, right. So it's a very interesting presentation and talk from Dr. Anna. Okay, I used to call for Dr. Prasanna as Dr. Anna. Okay, right. Okay, thank you so much for the session, Dr. Anna. So basically, okay, I can see that this webinar is very extensive. Okay, we start with Prof. Dr. Aziah giving the main idea on how to do research in ODL, and then followed by Dr. Shahriman, giving the tips how to apply grants on the ODL or research, but then now you conclude everything showing the output, and also the tools that can be used to conduct the research in ODL, right, and then you're focusing also on the teaching and learning. Thank you so much, Dr. Anna. Right. So so we like to open the floor for question and answer. You can raise up you can unmute your microphone and ask questions to any of our panels, or you might write the questions in the chat box. I will read the questions to the panels, to the respective panels. Please, any questions? Okay, basically, I realized that there's one question for Dr. Shahriman just now. Dr. Shahriman, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, right. Dr. Shahriman, there's one question. Okay, when you give a talk, when you explaining about the title for the FRGS research, okay, there's one question here. What is the right word, okay, to use, okay, for the title?
Mm.
Ah,
Okay. The right words to use, normally it should be fundamental words, such as framing, modeling, categorizing, then and a few more. You can see it from my slide. There's a
okay, do you have?
common term to show the fundamental elements of the proposal.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Can you share any examples of the title? Do you
Uh,
have?
okay. I don't have with me right now because I cannot share my
Oh, okay, okay.
from my I mean from my
Screen,
yeah WebEx. I don't know why, but you can Google in through the internet the example of uh, FRGS proposal, and you can see several example of research proposal at FRGS level. Normally, you can see there's at the university website, such as UKM, UPM, UITM. It can be just for you as a reference for you to develop a proposal.
okay, okay. Right. Is that all, Doctor? Is that
Yeah,
all?
yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you for the answer. Okay, right. So there's one question for Dr. Anna. Okay, just want to get your perspective on kind of research that can be done in relevance of ODL and the student academic performance, because what I saw students' performance, the GPA last semester improved significantly. So how to address it, how to make this as a research? Anna, please mute your mic.
Yeah. Can you repeat? Yeah.
Okay, the question is, just want to get your perspective on kind of research that can be done in relevance of ODL. Okay, what types of research can be done, okay, in relevance of ODL and student academic performance, how to relate both. Okay, because what I saw is, okay, students' performance, the GPA for last semester improved significantly.
Okay. So what they want to see is the ODL related with the student result, right? So usually what we do is we will test. Of course, you must have two groups lah. Basically, you can use your previous semester's group and this semester's group. And this semester will be basically the experimental group. And what are the things that you have injected into the group to get that result? So the assessment format or the percentage will be almost the same. It's just that you have converted it into a different way of assessment. So on the what research you want to do, you can do a lot of things. You can look into the learning experience, the learning ability, or even the tools that you use. So it's actually quite a lot. So depending, as what Prof. Aziah shared just now, the areas is quite big. So you have to decide on what you want to focus on.
Can I add, Puan Erny?
Please,
Yes, of course, Prof.
Okay, in relation to that question, we actually conducted one research where we seek students from the students what are factors that contributed to their success last semester. So that's a very we got very interesting findings, but I think all the lecturers here should know that the factor number one that contributed to ODL success among the students, it was actually lecturers. So saya memang nak sampaikan itu je lah, because students find that lecturers have been very supportive and so on. So we found about 7 main factors that contributed to the success of students' performance last semester. But of course, there are many other ways to check for the relevance between ODL and performance. Yes, lecturer should be the main factors. Salah.
So that's why we are having this session, Prof, okay, to upgrade more on our lecturer skills in ODL.
Okay, sebab ada yang minta share the channel. So if you look at the channel, it's more on videos that I created for students. You can also share with students. And I'm also creating some videos for the lecturers, so I'll put it there. Somebody was asking about Grammarly. The video on Grammarly is also in the YouTube channel. You can check it out.
Okay, Dr. Anna. So there are so much requests here, so many requests to join your group now. So you're opening for 1 or 2 vacancies just now. So right now you have quite a lot of requests.
Okay. The thing is, what I want to do here is to initiate the ODL research. So they can join my group. And personally, you can also start with something which you don't need to include me, but if you want to come in anytime to see me, I can also guide you on the type of research you can do related to ODL. So that's the thing. So either you can work with me or you can do it separately yourself. If you need my consultation or help, I'm always there to help you. You don't need to include my name also, is okay, but you can do, I can assist on that. So since a lot of you asking, so what I do is I will share my number. My number is there. Everybody basically has my number.
You can just Google it actually.
You go to ISAPS. Under ISAPS, my number is now, it's like everywhere. Even students start calling now. So this is my contact number. You can just drop me a WhatsApp. I will usually respond to the lecturers. So we will see. Either you want to join my team or you want to do it separately. It's up to you. And I can also assist you on the topics that you want to create ODL. So the main intention here is to initiate the ODL researchers. So we just want to help you to start. So that is why the purpose of this webinar also. So
yes,
my
that's
part
true.
is basically on that.
That's very true, Dr. Anna. I think before everybody leaves, they should know that ODL research does not require a lot of money.
Yes.
We don't need a very high grant, whatever for this, but we can make it very impactful. So
Yes,
go
correct.
to Dr. Anna.
Yes, come to me. I have some money in grant, so I can help in publish some papers. So don't worry. We help each other. So those of you are struggling outside there, you come and see us. We will assist you. And due to COVID, you can't drop by to my office. So if not, you can drop by anytime. I'll be in ISAPS most of the time.
Well, it's not only for research opportunities. Okay, now we also get research consultations. Okay, from Dr. Anna.
No, I'm not an expert. Prof Aziah is the expert. I'm actually can assist them in terms of if they have the data, because a lot of lecturers now they're stuck. They don't know what to do with what they have. So we will assist them on that. So especially the tools. Also, they're not sure. Okay, they have this what tools they can use, the right tools to analysis. So these are the things we can help them.
Yes, yes. So it's not only Dr. Anna. Okay, you can also consult with Prof. Aziah. Prof?
Yeah, sure. Because HEA also got lots of data. I see some deans following this webinar just now. We are open to relinquishing the faculty data to you if you want it. So just ask for it, and I know you can do a lot of good stuff with it. So just contact us. We are open to this. That's why we have this webinar, like what Dr. Anna said.
Yes, correct.
Okay, you can contact Prof. Aziah, and then you can contact Professor Dr. Shahriman as well. Okay, for the tips. Okay, to apply grants. Okay, and then how to do grants. Then you can consult with Dr. Anna. Okay, right, and we have more. So I hopefully this this session, this webinars, will give benefits. Okay, will beneficial to all the lecturers joining today, and please spread out the words. Okay, please share with your colleagues. Okay, the opportunities that we offer. Okay, to all the UITM lecturers. Okay, right. Any more questions from the floor, from the audience? Okay, I think. Okay, Dr. Anna, do you have a course or talk or video on gamification? Example, how to create ads? Okay, so this one.
Okay, actually we have we actually creating MOOC and also micro credential courses will be launched in stages by end of this. I mean somewhere in November 1, and the micro credential courses, especially talking how to design the gamification in classroom learning and also online learning, will be by stages, will be out next year. There was a slight delay. We're supposed to do it earlier, but due to pandemic, I am actually fully occupied on supporting New Future. So I had to my focus was more on future support, and then now I'm basically slowly trying to complete the videos and put it into micro credential and also MOOC courses. So it will be launched, and of course we will blast to everybody.
Okay, right. Thank you, Latana. So if there's no more questions, okay, I would like to have one announcement. Okay, Ponina, can you share the slides, please? Okay, one announcement, okay, from CGODL. Okay, so actually we have another session for you. This is due to the overwhelming request, okay, yesterday. Right, so we are going to have another session on the gamification here. So we have this webinar, okay, engaging ODL teaching and learning through gamifications, okay, by Puan Siti Rosani Ismail, okay, from UiTM Perak. So the session will be on the 14th of October 2020 at 10 to 12 p.m. Okay, so okay, we are disseminating the information about this webinar through the UiTM email. Okay, so please book your slot here. Okay, right. So with that, okay, I would like to thank all the speakers. Okay, today, okay, Prof. Hajah, Professor Dr. Hajah Nur Aziah Haji Alias, okay, and also Associate Professor Dr. Shahriman Zainal Abidin, and also Dr. Prasanna Ramakrisnan. Thank you for your time. Okay, thank you for your sharings. Okay, right. So we have lots of information today. We gain lots of knowledge today. Okay, so hopefully it will help you, okay, all the lecturers, okay, during your semester, your new ODL semester. Okay, the coming ODL semester. Okay, right. With that, I would like to thank also all the audience, okay, all the participation today, okay, and also for all the support given, okay, for these ODL best practices webinars, okay. Thank you so much, everybody, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.